Hello and welcome in to another episode of the Keep Fantasy Great pod. It's been a while, fellas, but we're here. We're back. It's the summertime. We're feeling good. It's the off season, and we're still able to put out some more content for you guys. Today, we have a special guest, a special segment, and our very own KFG CEO is Dhruv Parmar. Dhruv, welcome in.
Howdy, Nick. Thanks for having me. I'm glad to be back on the pod.
It's been a long time coming. Oh, hold on. I just welcomed you in without even mentioning. Welcome in our champ. The last time we recorded a pod episode, were you our champ? You might not have been. I don't remember. Regardless, we did the award show, and you had already won. Regardless, still have to greet you as such. Welcome into our champ. My apologies, champ.
Don't worry about it.
Yeah, but today
We're good.
Today we got a new one for you guys. And who better to tell you about it than our own historian here. Dhruv, why don't you tell us what we're going to be going through today?
Yeah, I'd love to. So, I visit the site quite often when I'm a little bored during work, and it's just nice to look at everyone's teams from back in the day. So I thought it'd be a great idea let's all do an all-time team for everyone. We've all been in the league for about 7 years now. I think that's enough years where we've all had quite a few players from the past and from, just last season who you want to remember. So might as well, rank your best players that have been on everyone's teams.
I like it. Yeah, some of us haven't had the kindest recent years or recent history, but guess what? Today we'll take a blast to the past. We'll look back at some of your best players of all time. And who better to start with than our own champ right here, Dhruv. Who do we got? Wait, before I even say that, we're going to go through. It's going to be a team captain, a quarterback, a running back, a wide receiver, a tight end, and a flex player. Not a full-on roster. We got rid of the DSTs. We got rid of the kickers. No one cares about them. You get one at each position. We're going to talk about them. No one better to start us off than Dhruv. Dhruv, who made your all-time team today?
Okay. Well, we should first say the captain's going to be like a guy who's been known to be on that person's team or has done a lot for them. But maybe, not haven't been like the number one player. So, who else do you want to lead off then? Mr. AJ Green.
Nice.
He's been on my team for 4 out of the 7 years. He never really was a top wide receiver, but he just...
Here. They pay me the big bucks to make the big plays. So, I try.
And my QB1 going to be Patrick Mahomes. I drafted him in like the 13th or 14th round, I forgot, whatever. And this 2018 year, and he threw for 50 touchdowns, so I still didn't win. Kind of bummer, but oh well. RB1 is going to be 2019 CMC. He was averaging 29.5 points. Ridiculous. My wide receiver one will be 2021 Debo. Shout out Debo. Tight end one, this might be a common theme here, but it'll be 2020 Travis Kelce. And my flex will be David Johnson from 2016, another legend.
Yeah, that's a squad right there, and we're gonna go through each one, but a lot of number one seasons out of these guys. You mentioned your quarterbacks, 2018 Pat Mahomes. Why'd you go 2018 Pat Mahomes versus last year's 2022 Pat Mahomes?
It's just the individual performance was much higher in 2018. He was great the last year, but 50 touchdowns is kind of hard to beat.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. Something about you owning Pat Mahomes and him winning MVP and being the number one quarterback. So if you see Dhruv draft Pat Mahomes, you might want to throw in a little futures bet. Maybe Chiefs Super Bowl as well. I don't know. There seems to be some history there. Number one running back CMC, Pat Mahomes, guys that you'll see on a couple all-time teams here today.
Sure.
Deebo Samuel, you happen to draft him in his only healthy and good year. Boss.
Yeah.
Travis Kelce, another fan favorite. Sail the open Kelce's. You named your team after him. That's worth mentioning. And you'll see him on a lot of ones. And then a guy that, goes right up there with AJ Green when you think of Dhruv Parmar. You think of David Johnson, 2016. Another guy that you happen to get in his only non-injury year and best season. Worth noting before we move on or before you want to say anything else. You've also owned guys like Jonathan Taylor, who in 2021 was the number one running back by a long shot.
Yep.
And Josh Allen, who in 2021 was the number one quarterback as well. And you had him in his best season. Tough to leave guys like that off the list.
Yeah, it was a good team. Sadly, we couldn't even make it past the second round. So, oh well.
Can't harp on the past here. Funny that no one from your
We're not worried about that.
So no one from your 2022 championship season makes your all-time team. A collaborative group effort.
Yeah. Yep. It's just they're just grinders on the team. It wasn't a one-man show.
No. If we did single game performances, you'd put Mike Evans championship week 17 on this list. But we're going full season.
Yep,
we want the best versions. All right. Should we get into the next team?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. Well,
commissioner himself.
Since I'm right here, I might as well announce who made my sad all-time team. At captain, as obvious as any, we have the Dalvin Cook. Owned him 3 times in 2019, 2020, and 2022. In 2019 and 2022, he was a number 2 running back. At quarterback, we got the man, the myth, and legend himself, Jay Herbo, Justin Herbert. 2021 Justin Herbert, where he was the number 2 quarterback overall. At our running back, a tough one for me because I like my running backs. I've had a good set. It's going to be Saquon Barkley, 2018. I had the first one to draft Saquon, and he finished number 1 on the year. As a wide receiver, we have last year's 2022 Devontae Adams, number 3 wide receiver on the season. At tight end, Travis Kelce in 2021. I don't have a good history with tight ends, so we'll take the best tight end that we've seen in fantasy. And then in our flex, we got Todd Gurley, 2017 number 1 running back. Dhruv, what do you think of my squad? A lot of number 1 running backs on this list.
Yeah, a lot of number 1 running backs. The pass catchers, may not be that, but maybe this year.
Yeah,
just keep going running backs.
It feels like I gotta almost break the barriers that I've only had so many good running backs to choose from, with Todd Gurley number 1 in 2017, Saquon Barkley number 1 in 2018, Dalvin Cook in 2019 and 2020 the number 2. We didn't even mention, but Le'Veon Bell back in 2016 who missed 3 games and still finished top 3 or top 4 running backs that year. But my pass catchers look bleak. I had Travis Kelce in his worst season yet, and Devontae Adams, who was fine, but I'm sure you could put down Devontae Adams any year on anyone's all-time list.
Yeah, right. Yeah, so maybe pull Barrera this year and go only running back.
Yeah, maybe, because nothing else seems to work out. Still, I like my squad nonetheless. A lot of guys that have a special place in my heart for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what counts.
Yeah, that's what really makes the all-time team. Is how do they rank in your heart? I like the list. If I could, I would have Jonnu Smith in there at tight end.
Jonnu.
All right, moving on to the next team, we got the Justin Bartus squad. And Dhruv, why don't you take us through who made the Justin Bartus squad?
Alrighty, let's do it. So, if anyone's ever been active in a group chat, this name is probably mentioned by him the most. It'll be DJ Les, also known as DJ Moore to some people, but he's only had him a handful of times, and I'm sure I was going to draft him this year, probably in like the 8th, 9th round.
He'll slip to him.
Maybe he'll slip to him. So no one take DJ Moore, so you can make sure this guy's going to be his team captain. At quarterback, we did have a little dispute here. So we're going to go with Matt Ryan from both.
That's exactly what he did there. That was 6'4" against 5'11".
2016, 2018, Matt Ryan.
Matt Ryan, he was the quarterback too, both those years, correct?
Mm-hmm.
So, and I had written down 2022 last season Josh Allen, who was also QB2, but I guess Matt Ryan had much more of an impact on those teams for Bartus. For RB1, it's going to be CMC. In Bartus' championship year, shocker, CMC's been there many times. For wide receiver 1, it's going to be 2018 D-Hop, also wide receiver 1, one of Bartus' favorite players ever. Shocker, third time in a row for Travis Kelce being everyone's all-time team for 2022, Kelce. And for the flex, we had 2016 rookie All-Pro Zeke Elliott.
Big time.
Bartus has been so high on, and now he let him go. So,
he'll find his way.
Bartus' team. He'll find his way somewhere. Maybe it's a good team this year.
So yeah, love that. We open up our all-time teams with 3 straight Travis Kelce appearances in 2020, 2021, and 2022. A common theme: draft Kelce in here. He'll be up there for you. Top 2 tight end at the very least. But yeah, that decision I liked. I threw in the Matt Ryan pick, a little bit of a homer pick. I don't even know if Bartus has any impact with or sentimental value with the Matt Ryan. However, I looked at it. Matt Ryan, top quarterback and led Bartus to a championship, 2 championship appearances, as well as a championship himself. I feel like that's got to hold some kind of value to him. Bart, let us know how you think or what you think of that. But yeah, nothing different here. Championship season, he had a top running back, a top wide receiver. They make his all-time team. Not surprising.
Absolutely.
And how Bartus loves his Zeke Elliott, especially in 2016, that rookie year.
Yep, very explosive year.
All right. To our next team, and I'll take it from here. Let's talk about our very own G-Money Mags and who made his all-time team now. A team that's gotten to the championship a lot. Tough to find guys that Greg holds on to before he dumps them off in trades. But we were able to put together a little list, and at captain, none other than the man that G-Money makes sure he trades for every single year. It's Adam Thielen. Got to be on Greg's all-time team as his captain. He might not have had those memorable seasons. However, has a memorable spot in Greg's heart for sure. At quarterback, G-Money didn't have the best history at quarterbacks, but we'll throw it in with Pat Mahomes 2020 as the number 1 quarterback. No surprise. If you have Pat Mahomes, he might be on your list. At running back, even though Greg wants to erase last year from his memory, it's got to be Austin Eckler 2022, the number 1 running back on the year. An absolute menace in the PPR game that whole season. In 2021 now, Greg's championship year, we got wide receiver Devontae Adams. And at tight end, big Dalton Schultz 2021. Number 3 tight end for Dalton Schultz in the year that year. Only behind, none other than Kelce and Mark Andrews. In the flex, we go with 2017 DeAndre Hopkins, who was our wide receiver 1 in standard formats, which is what we played back in 2017. Still got to throw some love to the boys that did it back in the standard days. Now, we'll look at this team, and anything you want to mention about Greg's all-time team?
I mean, besides captain, it's a very solid team for sure. Mahomes and Eckler are always going to make someone's teams now. And Devontae Schultz is definitely an outlier. You might not ever see him on another all-time team again. So it's good to have a unique tight end. Yeah. And not Kelce.
Yeah, I don't think Greg's ever actually owned Travis Kelce, so didn't qualify. But maybe he'll draft him this year, and he could sneak into his next year all-time team.
Yep, and hopefully Steve drafts Adam Thielen this year, and Greg gets him for the low. Let's keep that tradition alive.
Yeah, Adam Thielen, wide receiver 1 now in the Panthers, so you never know what can happen with that. And also, a little honorable mention for Greg's team. We did not put them on the list. They just missed the cut, but it's 2016's Jordy Nelson and Mike Evans. That wide receiver duo went 1 and 2 for Greg, and somehow he didn't make the championship. You figure if you had a year to make the championship, it would have been that one.
Yeah, I mean, Mike Evans is possibly his best year ever. So good on Greg for owning Mike Evans.
Yeah.
The up and down roller coaster for that guy.
Yep. All right, we'll move right into our next squad, and that's going to be the Josh Warren squad. Josh, let's go opposite way. We're gonna leave the captain for last. We don't want to get into it just yet. His quarterback, none other than MVP Lamar 2019 season. Kamara at running back 2020 season, number 1. Cooper Kupp at wide receiver 2021 season. No, I don't even think we need to mention what Cooper Kupp did in 2021. But he makes an all-time team for sure. At tight end, we have none other than George Kittle. In 2019, how we started, all the texts come from Josh's 2019 George Kittle, number 2 tight end. And then last year's Justin Jefferson, 2022. Number 1 wide receiver. You know how Josh loves his Jettas. But Josh, you need a captain. Who's that going to be? How about Russell Wilson? What did Russell Wilson do for Josh besides Josh drafting him a few times? We'll go back to 2017 when he was the number 1 QB in all of fantasy and led Josh's squad to his championship run. Dhruv, what do you got to say about this Josh team?
Yeah, I mean, Russ, you can't have a better leader than that, right? And Josh might be the only person who still believes in him. So
I'm sure he'll draft him again this year.
Definitely rounds him out. Yeah, I hope so. Yeah, I mean, he's got some, like, these guys, when they were like the number 1 player in their respective position, they were like the number 1 player by a lot. Lamar, that MVP season is probably one of the best quarterback seasons we're ever going to witness in a fantasy standpoint. And Alvin Kamara, I remember that 5 touchdown game that he had that year, really shaped out that number 1 RB spot. And then Cooper Kupp, obviously, can't talk about that guy enough. And then Kittle.
I mean, none other than Kittle and
Kittle.
Our snub from the list, or someone we wouldn't mind bringing up for Josh's team, was also that 2017 Kareem Hunt. He was number 4 running back on the year, also part of that championship team. But Josh drafted him in the 11th round, and he was right up there helping lead Josh's squad to a championship. I like the look of Josh's team, and it spreads out the years a lot. You know, you got a 2022, you got a 2021, 2020, 2019, captains from 2017, and so on. But Josh kind of spreading the wealth in these recent years. Seems like he's got a new guy that finishes at the top now from 2019 on. So we'll see who his next guy will be this year to lead the charge.
Sure, one of the stronger all-time teams for sure.
I think a lot of these teams are strong so far.
Some are stronger than others.
We'll get into
agree?
We'll get into the next 5. Continuing on with our all-time teams, a little part 2, a little day 2 action for Dhruv and I here. We're going to kick it off and start with Steve. Made his first postseason appearance this year, making Steve's all-time team. At captain, no surprise here, we got Josh Gordon. We talk about 2022, and there's going to be a lot of them in this team. We got at quarterback Joe Burrow from 2022, running back Josh Jacobs from 2022, wide receiver Stephon Diggs from 2022. At tight end, a little throwback, a little odd pick here. We go with Robert Tonyan from 2020, top 4 tight end that year. At the flex, to round it out, none other than the Derrick Henry from 2022. Dhruv, what do you think of Steve's team?
It's a very solid team. I like seeing Bob Tonyan there. You know, everyone else got Kelsey there, but it's really nice to see Bob Tonyan get some love on an all-time team. And obviously Josh Gordon. I don't know if he's ever played and got Steve points in a game, but it's nice to see that he was on his roster very often. So keep believing in Josh.
It's good to have someone to believe in, and I'm sure Josh would love to hear that someone out there believes in him. But just to round it off, just shows how good Steve's team actually was last year, that we could have 4 guys from one team all on his all-time team, and I'm sure they'll hold a big spot in Dhruv and Steve's heart. Sorry, as that was his first playoff appearance and first playoff win. Those 4 guys go down in history with him. All right. Moving on, Dhruv, why don't you announce our next one?
Okay, well, we'll do Emmet next.
Yeah.
So for Emmet, team captain, I feel like Emmet's had a lot of guys we could have potentially put at team captain, but we got down to A.J. Brown. Emmet was a big A.J. Brown fan back in the Tennessee Titans days. He was on his team quite a few times. For quarterback, Emmet's had Lamar quite a few times, but he never was the top quarterback on Emmett's team, so we decided to go with Matt Stafford when he finished QB5 in 2020. Nothing more to say about that. And RB1 going to be Zeke. in 2019. Wide receiver, 2016 AB. Talked about a throwback 7 years ago. And tight end, we're gonna do Darren Waller in his first year. What year was that, Nick?
It was 2019 Darren Waller.
2019 Darren Waller. Emmet had Kelsey in 2016 in his championship year, but he didn't play in the championship game. He wasn't on the roster, so. And then for his flex, we had 2020 Alvin Kamara when he finished as the RB3.
2018 Alvin Kamara, no?
2018, my bad.
All good.
My bad. And then for the honorable mention, we had championship DeMarco Murray from 2016, another throwback name.
Yeah, tough to leave DeMarco off this list. I'm sure he holds a special spot in Emmett's heart, but he had some running backs that did a little bit better. But no, I mean, it was tough, especially, you mentioned someone like Matt Stafford. But when you look back, Emmet had some unfortunate luck with quarterbacks, and then, you want to get a guy like Justin Fields in there, but he didn't quite have the full season performance. Couple games here and there. But nonetheless, Antonio Brown, love to hear a nice little 2016. I love when someone from the 2016, 2017, the early days of our fantasy can make an all-time list. Throw it back,
Legends.
Exactly. Guys that cemented in history.
Legends.
Part of the first championship out there. Got to give some love for them.
Definitely memorable.
All right. We'll get to the next team, and why not?
Yep.
How about Christopher Barrera? So at our captain for Christopher Barrera, how could we be anyone but walk it to him, old Carson Wentz at the captain spot. At the quarterback, couldn't be walk it to him because he didn't walk it to him very often. But at quarterback, we got Tom Brady in 2021, number 2 quarterback, the resurgence. At running back, we go with Austin Eckler from that same 2021 year, that Barrera championship loss year, but nonetheless, number 2 running back on the year. At wide receiver, we go with 2020 Tyreek Hill, who we all saved Barrera from trading away in that year by vetoing a trade to keep him on his team. And the same year, we go with Darren Waller, 2020, number 2 tight end of the year. You know how he loves the Walrus. And then at the flex, we go with Alvin Kamara, 2017. A lot of Alvin Kamara showing so far on our all-time teams. He's been a boss these past couple of years. And just missing the cut was 2020 Josh Allen, who also was the number 2 quarterback, but we're thinking that, Tom Brady helped lead Barrera's team somewhere. Josh Allen did not. Dhruv, what are we thinking here?
That's true. Yeah, it's a very solid squad. He's got his boys in there too, Walk It to him and Waller the Baller. He got some nicknames, so it's nice to see that people who he's held so high, so dearly, made the all-time team. And also, remember, I was looking at the draft recap, and Barrera drafted Josh Allen as honorable mention in the 14th or 13th round, and he finished the QB2 that year. But he's not Tom Brady.
He's no Tom Brady.
Yep, no Tom
But
Brady.
Yeah, it goes to show the guys that we talk about in the group chat a lot tend to, not only are Dhruv and I paying attention to that, they also tend to, have some decent seasons behind them. There's the reason they get some chatter and some nicknames.
Yep, for sure.
All right, why don't we kick it off with someone that doesn't pay attention and probably won't even watch his all-time team. Dhruv, why don't you mention Shijin's team?
All right, Shijin. We got the team captain. This is going to be quite a shock to some of you guys, but we decided to go with JJ just because he drafted him. And I don't know anyone else who drafted JJ with high hopes. So I don't sit for that. I'm always a big Eagles guy. Quarterback, also a potential captain, but he was actually good for at least a year. It was Kyle Murray in 2020. For RB1, we got Derrick Henry, 2020 championship winner. Very good championship team that Shijin had. For wide receiver, 2020 Devontae Adams finished as one of the best wide receivers. No shot there. And for tight end 1, we got Travis Kelce in 2018, another common name. We don't need to talk about him much more.
Mm-hmm.
And for the flex, we're going to have 2018 Todd Gurley. When Shijin missed the playoffs, Todd Gurley was, definitely helped him achieve that scoring champion goal.
Yeah.
And for honorable mention, we have 2020 Jonathan Taylor. He started off the year very weak, and then he went on that rampage and finished as RB7. So he definitely would have finished as RB1 if he got a lot more touches in the first few weeks. It's a very solid team for Shijin.
That was rookie JT right there. Yeah, I mean,
Yep.
It's a solid team from Shij. Also, him and I got a lot in common. We had 3 guys that both made both of our all-time teams. So, hard to hate on this team that I'm looking at right here.
Wonderful.
A lot of guys from his 2020 championship team. Not a surprise at all. That's a common trend here. If you won a championship, chances are you had a guy, at least one, most likely 2, 3 players from championship team make your all-time team. Another honorable mention that kind of missed the cut, but a nice little spirit 3-headed trio back in 2016. Shijin had 3 top 12 running backs with Melvin Gordon, Devontae Freeman, and Jay Ajayi himself, which is just an impressive list that they were ever top 12 running backs at some point, and then you own all 3 of them in that same year. Little big time throwback. And to go with our newest member of the league, our most recent addition, who has the least history to look at, we look at Cactus himself to round out our all-time team list. Let's take you through who made Cactus's team. As the captain, none other than the free man himself, Mike Gesicki. You can't believe that he's still out there. At quarterback, this was a tough one now. For Cactus, he has not had... Hopefully, Cactus, you draft a good quarterback so they can take the spot here. But we'll go with 2022 Tua for that small stretch of games where he was good. But pre-concussion Tua in 2022. Other than that, there wasn't many quarterbacks to choose from here. At running back, we go with last year's CMC. Boss, top running back on the year, number 2 running back on the year, number 2 picks overall. For wide receiver, none other than his championship guy, Michael Thomas in 2019, number 1 wide receiver by a landslide that year, absolute boss. At tight end, we go to 2021, Mark Andrews. The only Mark Andrews mentioned so far. Love that. And then at flex, we go with Tyreek Hill from last year, 2022. Rico was a boss for Cactus all season long. And that'll do it for our teams. What are we thinking here, Dhruv? Anything you want to say about Cactus's team before we kind of just break it down real quick about everyone's team?
Yeah, maybe some advice. Just maybe draft quarterback in the first 10 rounds and not wait till the 13th. So I was looking at every draft, and Kyle, it's okay to have a good quarterback. Nothing bad comes from that. So, but it's a depth. Besides the quarterback, all the other positions are just monster names. And good to see Mark Andrews have the 1 year where he's better than Kelsey and make it 9 year.
Yep, and Kelsey still made it, even though he got outplayed by Andrews, he still made the all-time team that year. But nonetheless, Cactus, maybe draft a quarterback so we can get a 2023 QB on your all-time team. But other than that, that's gonna do it for everyone's teams. Comment down below and tell us who's got the best all-time team. Tell me if there's anyone that was snubbed from the all-time teams. Did Dhruv and I miss anyone on these lists? Doubt it.
Sure we did.
Doubt it. Doubt it. Extensive research.
Team captains.
Yes.
Is everyone okay with their team captains?
Yeah.
Too?
Comment down below if you need a new leader of your boys, of your squad. Let us know if we missed anyone, and let us know who your favorite team is here. But other than that, I think that'll do it for this off-season edition of the KFG Pod. I'm your host and commissioner, and we got Dhruv, KFG CEO, with us.
See you,
fellas. Till next time. And always remember, keep
Peace
fantasy
out,
great. Let's do it.